Hey there pranksters, welcome back. So over the years, I've been teaching you guys many different clever ways to improve your chances of getting more Halloween candy when you go trick-or-treating. Well, this video is a compilation of 30 unique methods to get the most possible candy this Halloween. So please don't skip any of these as you might end up missing out on valuable information. But before we get started, I want to give a quick shout out to Eric Carries. He was the winner of my Box of Snacks giveaway. Now guys, as far as the giveaway for this video, if this video reaches 10,000 likes before October 25th, 2019, I will choose a subscriber from the comments and that lucky person will get a treat basket filled with 1,000 pieces of candy. To participate, all you have to do is give this video a like and leave a cool comment below telling me what you're gonna dress up as this year. This giveaway is open to anyone, no matter where you live or what your age is. Everyone is eligible to enter. Again, just like and comment on this video. If this video does very well, I will make another video like this one showing you guys more clever ways to get more Halloween candy. Good luck pranksters, now let's go trick-or-treating. Let's begin by going trick-or-treating with a backpack and a Ziploc bag. Of course, your treat basket as well. When you knock on a door and your neighbor gives you a piece of candy, you quickly turn away and that's when you act fast. As your neighbors are being distracted by other trick-or-treaters, you open up the piece of candy that they gave you. For example, here I have some M&Ms. Dump them out into the Ziploc bag and put it inside your backpack. Careful not to be seen though. Now just walk up to your neighbors and tell them that they gave you an open piece of candy and show them the wrapper. Naturally, they'll want to correct this by giving you 2 or more pieces of candy. If you do this multiple times, you will end up with a Ziploc bag filled with all kinds of candy on top of the unopened candy you will be collecting during the night. I really like this costume idea as you guys can go trick-or-treating as a basketball hoop. And no, it's not so you look cute doing it, but rather get as much candy as possible. At this point, our costume is not complete until we attach a very clever sign on the backboard. It says, "Shoot candy here." And right below the hoop is gonna be our treat basket. You guys can secure that on with a simple zip tie. Our objective here is to try to taunt our neighbors into shooting candy into our basketball hoop. If they're up for the challenge and let's say they attempt 10 shots, that's 10 pieces of candy for you from just one house. Do this to multiple houses and you'll end up needing a larger treat basket. For those of you wanting to get twice as much candy as you normally would, get yourself a doll such as this one right here, as we are gonna try to create a little sibling. Now this baby will be trick-or-treating along with you. To best pull this off, get yourself a stroller, place the baby on the stroller and attach a treat basket onto it. To every house that you go to, make sure that you have the baby with you. Maybe try covering their face to make it seem like the baby's sleeping, that way your neighbors don't investigate. But if you do this right, you should get away with it and you'll get double the candy for every house you go to. Here's a classic trick that a lot of people are not falling for anymore. It used to be that trick-or-treaters would knock on a house carrying 2 treat baskets. One was theirs and the other one they would claim was their 6 siblings' basket and that they are trick-or-treating on their behalf. Well, most people don't buy that anymore, but there's a way to make it more believable. Of course, you will need an accomplice for this. Using a phone, record one of your siblings pretending to be sick and try to make it as sad looking as possible. You'll have to return the favor as well so that they can try this trick out when they go trick-or-treating. But anyway, once you have them on video, simply just have your phone handy when you're out trick-or-treating, and for every house that you go ask for candy, play that video and chances are your neighbors will fall for this trick and give you more candy for your 6th sibling.
Hello, sir. Trick-or-treat. I can't make it tonight. I'm sorry, but I want some candy.
If you want your neighbors to be more generous with you on Halloween and give you more candy, give them a good reason to do so. So during Halloween, you don't really have to dress up as anything, just make them believe that Halloween also happens to be your birthday. So if you have a party hat, put it on and carry other props with you such as a balloon that says happy birthday. Try to make it as believable as possible. Basically at this point, you will be dressed up as if you just had a birthday party. And remember that kids are not expected to carry an ID with them, so they can't prove that it's not your birthday. And hey, you'll get lots of candy for trick-or-treating and also candy for it being your birthday. Now, if Halloween really happens to be your birthday, then you don't have to lie. You are one lucky person. Faking an injury will sometimes get you more candy, as your neighbors will be more sympathetic and feel like they need to give you more candy. You can either put on a white sleeve and wrap your arm with a bandage to make it seem like you have a broken arm, or grab a broom and modify it to make it look like you are walking on crutches because you have a broken leg. Regardless of what your injury ends up being, you will for sure get more candy than all the other trick-or-treaters. You can always try to impress your neighbors and to give you more candy, and one of the best ways to do that is to pull off a simple magic trick on them, which will result in getting you more candy. For example, this magic trick, I will be wearing a long sleeve shirt. I would ask my neighbor to let me borrow a piece of candy because I will make it disappear. So, take the piece of candy, make sure that the candy is not within their view, and just simply have it slide into the sleeve. So I recommend your sleeves be a little bit loose. You can clap your hands, or any hand movement will cause the candy to go further into the sleeve, so your spectator will think that you really made the candy disappear. Not only will you keep that piece of candy, but you will be rewarded for your performance. Here's another magic trick you can do to blow them away. You'll need an empty roll of paper towels. Take a paper towel, ball it up, and insert it into the roll. About halfway will do. Next, you'll have to go to your local dollar store and get a big bag of the lesser known low quality candy. For $1, you can definitely get a lot of them. Take one piece of that candy and put it inside. Remember that the paper towel that's within the middle will block it from coming out the other end. And now it's time to knock on your neighbor's door and magic trick or treat. Basically, how this trick works is that you ask them to borrow a piece of candy and tell them that you'll magically turn it into a different piece of candy. While holding the roll horizontally, insert the piece of candy from the opposite end of the other one. Tilt it a bit and let gravity do its work. They'll fall in love with this trick, and they will for sure give you a handful of candy instead of just one piece. In preparation of Halloween night, you should always ask your parents or your neighborhood leaders if your area participate in such apps that allow trick-or-treaters to know which houses are passing out candy. That way you skip houses and you avoid wasting valuable trick-or-treating time. If that's not the case with your neighborhood, you could always scope it out a few days before and create a map yourself labeling the houses who are participating in passing out candy, and to distinguish these houses is quite easy. Any house that has Halloween decorations on their front yard or front porch is likely to be a house you want to trick or treat at on Halloween. And speaking of houses with nice decorations, a lot of people actually put a lot of time and effort into making their houses look as Halloweeny as possible, and they love getting compliments for it. So why not suck up to them in a very obvious way? Just print out a bunch of sheets that say Best Halloween Decorations. Basically create a little award for them for having such good decorations, even though that might not be the case. No matter what, they will love the awesome compliments and end up giving you more candy. It's always a good idea to keep old tests and quizzes where you got an A, as they will come in handy on Halloween. Just take it along with you and make sure it's visible at all times when you're trick-or-treating. Try to point it out, and once your neighbors see that there's an A or A+ on it, they might reward you with more candy. Another method to get away with something similar is to, instead of just bringing a good test score with you, just bring your whole grades along. Of course, they would have to be good grades. If these don't apply to you, then you guys can create your own fake report card. Again, good grades are always rewarded, and you might end up with more candy in your basket for being a grade A student. During Halloween, everybody wants to stand out with their favorite costumes. Some actually spend a good amount of money for their Halloween props and costumes, but sometimes not having the best costume pays off. Basically what I'm saying is try to make your own. In this example, I've made a mask from a styrofoam plate. Many people will be touched by the fact that you made your own costume out of the most basic things. You will likely get more candy for two different reasons. Either because they feel bad for you that you can't afford a costume, or that you got really creative and made your own. Either way, you'll end up with more candy heading your way. Fake blood can play a big role in getting more Halloween candy, and let me show you how. While trick-or-treating, always carry a bottle of fake blood with you. Apply some on your finger, and as you're approaching your neighbor's door, pretend to trip and fall. While on the floor, rub some fake blood on your elbow to make it seem like you hurt yourself. At this point, your neighbors witnessed everything, and to make you feel better, they'll want to give you extra pieces of candy for your pain. A really fun way to get a lot of candy is to tell jokes to the people that are passing out candy on Halloween, but you are gonna have to do it in a very clever way. Take a sheet of paper and on it write, insert candy for jokes. So that's when they'll have to put a piece of candy inside your treat basket if they want to hear a really funny joke. You'll have to look online for Halloween jokes, and that way you are prepared to tell as many jokes as possible, because remember, the more jokes that you tell, the more candy that you'll get. Here's one. What kind of dessert do ghosts like? Ice cream. They can be lame or not. Either way, guys, as long as they get a little laugh out of it, they'll probably want more jokes. And again, that's your opening to get as much candy as possible. If you are still young to go trick-or-treating alone and you have your parents take you, well, why not put them to work? That's right, guys, have them dress up and trick-or-treat to get more candy. There really isn't any age restrictions for trick-or-treating, so anyone can do it as long as they have a costume. If you look at these two treat baskets and someone asks you to pick one to take home, most likely you'd choose the bigger one with more candy. But it's not always about how much candy is in the treat basket, but rather the quality of the candy. So for example, this larger one has more candy, but most of it isn't really good compared to the smaller one, which is filled with really good candy. So if you get smart, you might want to separate your lower quality candy from your really good candy and put them in separate treat baskets. At this point, you guys can trade that basket for a smaller one. Any kid would say yes to that offer, but in reality, you end up being the winner. Here's a creative way to use your phone once more to get more candy, and yes, you will need to trick or treat with two treat baskets, one on each hand. Now the way you'll use your phone is the following. Just record your voice in a creepy way asking for candy. For example, say, "I want more candy," and then pause for a couple seconds and then say, "I'll take another piece." Keep your phone handy inside one of the baskets. Tap on the play button while knocking on their doors. They'll think it's so clever, and it's hard to say no to a talking treat basket.
"I'd like more candy. I'll take another piece."
It's never a bad idea to have a Sharpie handy, especially if you approach a house with a bowl of candy sitting on the porch with a sign that says, "Take one candy." Well, you can always modify that sign with a Sharpie, so instead of just saying, "Take one piece of candy," now you'll be able to take 10 pieces of candy. I guess this will make you less guilty if caught because you were just doing what the sign said to do. Besides a Sharpie, something else that can get you more candy is a simple piece of tape. And this works on occasions, guys. For example, just take a piece of tape and roll it up a bit so that it's sticky on both sides. Stick it to the palm of your hand. Now, if you approach the house where you were given the option to actually get a piece of candy instead of it being handed to you, this is where the tape would work its magic. Slowly reach in there and with your index finger and middle finger, pinch out one piece of candy, and in the process make sure to press firm on the pile of candy. You'll end up grabbing more than just one piece. Although from your neighbor's point of view, it will only appear as you are only grabbing one piece of candy. You might think that the earlier you trick or treat, the more time you'll have to collect the most candy. Although this might be true, it's also a good idea to wait and trick or treat towards the end of the night, as most people have already gotten tired of waiting for trick or treaters and just want to get rid of their candies so that they themselves can enjoy Halloween and either go to a Halloween party or just watch a scary movie. So they end up giving away handfuls of candy and not just one piece. And hey, they might end up giving you a whole bag of candy. Here's a trick that you may not know. When you go out and trick or treat, don't give your neighbors a chance to only give you one piece of candy. Basically, when they open their door, keep your treat basket away and extend both hands in front of them, basically not giving them a choice. Even after they put one piece of candy on one hand, keep the other hand up until they give in to your pressure and end up giving you another piece of candy. This one most of us are guilty of doing, and I'm sure that a lot of you guys can relate to this, but sometimes we live in neighborhoods that don't really participate in the Halloween festivities, so we have to go to the more upscale, richer neighborhoods where pretty much every house is giving out candy. So you go in there candy poor and you leave candy rich. This tip is for you older kids out there. Trick-or-treating and going house to house can get tiring and exhausting, and it will eventually slow you down. But if you go trick-or-treating on your bike, scooter, skateboard, or even hoverboard, you will conserve a lot of energy and trick-or-treat faster and for longer time. Of course, please be careful and always be aware of traffic and other trick-or-treaters out there. Safety is very important. Here's another way to make someone feel bad for you to the point where they end up giving you more candy. As you can see right here, I'm holding a regular looking treat basket from your point of view, But if we look at it from a bird's eye view, you guys can clearly see a big hole on the bottom. So when you head out to trick or treat, take a broken treat basket or a ripped bag along with the backpack. So you show up at your neighbor's house asking for candy. When they're about to put a piece of candy inside your treat basket, they will notice the hole and point it out to you. That's when you appear to be shocked and sad. Assuming that you dropped all your candy, they will try to make it up to you by giving you extra pieces of candy. So every house you trick or treat at most likely will have all kinds of decorations. So to get on your neighbor's good side and make it appear like you saved one of their decorations, before you approach their door, try to look for small decorations such as this zombie hand. Pick it up and take it with you to the front door, and before you even trick or treat, tell them that you found that on the side of the street and ask them if it's theirs. They will of course recognize it, and your good deed will not go unrewarded, so you can expect a handful of candy to be placed in your treat basket. You do this to every house and you'll end up getting way more candy than the average trick-or-treater. When you go knocking on doors and trick-or-treating, you don't always have to say anything. In fact, you can let a simple sign get more candy for you. What I mean by that is you can take some poster paper and on it write something clever, like for example, Dad says he will take me to Disneyland if I get 1,000 pieces of candy. Any adult that sees this will most likely want to contribute to your goal, and instead of giving you 1 piece of candy, they will give you 5 or 10 pieces. Tell them that you're really close and that you need about 20 more pieces of candy. This sign never fails. Another sign that never fails is the following, and it's actually quite funny. This sign reads, "Bet you can't hit me with a piece of candy," and there's even a bullseye on it. Basically, what you're doing here is taunting your neighbors into hitting your sign with a piece of candy. Whether they hit the target or not, they will for sure end up throwing more than 1 piece of candy at you, and those are for yours to keep. Lastly, if you really want to get more than just 1 piece of candy per house, just ask your neighbors for more. You won't believe how many trick-or-treaters do this, and it always works, as most people usually have large quantities of candy to give out. Asking for more candy is worth the shot, guys. There you pranksters have it, 30 genius ways to get more Halloween candy when you go trick-or-treating this year. These are pretty effortless, and your chances of getting large quantities of candy will improve quite dramatically. At the start of this video, I mentioned I'm giving away a treat basket filled with 1,000 pieces of candy to a lucky subscriber from the comments below once this video hits 10,000 likes. So if you wish to enter this giveaway, all you have to do is like this video and leave a comment below. One last thing, guys, please be cautious when trick-or-treating. Make sure to follow all the rules and stay safe while having a great time. Have an amazing Halloween, and I will see you guys in my next video.